In this presentation, I'll talk about the components of sustainable urban drainage systems. According to their drainage strategy, we can distinguish 4 types of components. First, we have the source control components, which manage the water where and when it falls, for instance, green roofs. Second, we have site control components, which manage the water coming from source control elements. Third, we have regional control elements, for instance, retention basins or ponds, which are the last treatment stage and where there is any discharge to a stream or a river. And finally, we have the conveyance elements, which move water between the different treatment stages. Starting with source control components, we have green roofs, which are systems that cover a roof of a building with vegetation, and they are laid over a set of layers that provide protection, waterproofing, and insulation. Second, we have pervious pavements, which are systems that can be used in parking areas, driveways, or roads, and they are systems that allow water to infiltrate through the surface into the gravel subbase below, and they may allow total infiltration to the ground, partial infiltration, or no infiltration. There are 2 types of pervious pavements. We have permeable surfaces, for instance, pervious concrete or pervious asphalt, and the second type are what we call permeable pavements. Permeable pavements are not pervious to water themselves, but they are laid providing a void space that allows water to infiltrate. We also have rain gardens, which are landscape depressions that collect and treat rainwater. Filtered drains are another type of source control elements, and they are gravel-filled trenches which collect and move water. They have usually a perforated pipe to collect the water. And the last type of source control element is filter strip. Filter strips are gently sloping areas covered by grass where water flows onto and across towards a filter drain or a swale, and they are used to remove any silt so it does not clog the swale or filter drain. Regarding site control components, second group, we have detention basins. Detention basins are flat areas covered by grass, which are generally dry, and when there is a storm event, they allow short-term storage of water, and afterwards water is infiltrated below the basin. Concerning regional control components, the most characteristic elements are ponds and wetlands. They allow temporary storage for water during rainfall events. The main difference between wetlands and ponds is that ponds have a higher focus on storing water, while wetlands have a higher focus on treating pollutants. And finally, we have the conveyance elements, and the most characteristic are the swales. Swales are shallow channels covered by grass or other vegetation, and they are used to collect and move water and to remove pollutants. Many of these elements are nowadays being used in many cities around the world, and here you have some examples. For instance, in New York, they have a master plan of green infrastructure since 2010, which promotes the natural treatment of surface runoff. Another example is Portland, Oregon, which has developed a green street policy which promotes the use of vegetation facilities for treating the surface runoff, or Chicago's Green Alleys program, which promotes the use of permeable pavements. Another example is the new legislation in Paris, which requires all new commercial buildings to be built to have a green roof. And the last example in the UK, with the Flooded and Water Management Act, they require all new buildings to implement sustainable urban drainage systems. And this was all about the components of sustainable urban drainage systems.